Rousey back in the gym. She has refound her love for MMA. And then what was so wonderful is it then shows a video of her not doing MMA. I mean, not for nothing. Like, it shows a video of her boxing with mitts, not with a partner that punches back, and she has refound her love. Now, I don't mean to be a skunk at a garden party as it pertains to Ronda. And I do catch myself where I am more often taking tone as opposed to praising her. That's purely out of spite because her assistant was rude to me. Just so you understand. I consider Ronda a friend. I think she's a wonderful person. The story is just a story. I mean, there's a couple of ways that the story gets told, and we are all supposed to play along, which is very easy to do until you run into people that are competitive, and they're not willing to play along. Here's the story. Chuck Liddell's the greatest fighter of all time, and Ronda Rousey's the biggest star we've ever had. Neither of which are true. But it's the way the story is just like incessantly to be told. All right, fair enough. But my point on Ronda wasn't to give her a hard time or to make believe that she's going to come back or to make believe that she's got anything to come back to. My story on Ronda is that I just had a match myself. I just took on Craig Jones. And the night before I took on Craig Jones, I get called out and accept a match with Tito. So I get a call from Chuck Kearney. Chuck Kearney was my coach in college. He's now at St. Mary's. And he calls me and he says, Chael, I see what's going on. I just want to share something with you. He said, God is going to give us as human beings 20 good years. And then the rest of the time that we're alive, we're going to try to chase and be like we were during those 20 good years. And it's a fallacy. And he said, before you go in and you play childish games, or before you go in and play the games you played when you were a child, or you get up and you're doing the runs, or you're going to the gym, or what have you, whatever your sport is, he said, everybody will have the same fate, which is in a broad stroke, they will be given through DNA and blessings, and their vision's good, and their back's good, and their hips and their knees, and everything feels good. They're gonna get 20 good years. And they will spend the rest of their life, whether they live to 70, 80, or 90, trying to get back to their form in those 20, and it won't happen. So you can chase your tail, use that energy, or you can understand this is happening and take your focus and get up and move on. As opposed to being an athlete, you become a coach. As opposed to being a participant, you become a supporter and a fan. It was very good advice, and he wasn't telling me, don't wrestle Tito, and he wasn't telling me, don't take on Craig. He was just sharing with me what he's seen and what he's observed. And I share that with you because, like, these headlines will never go away. There's always going to be an idea, okay, there's a big card coming up, and we can't help it. We just think, okay, there's going to be a really big fight. And what is a really big fight? I mean, there's few things that are bigger than a return. And you can't ever have a comeback fight unless you retire in the first place. But some people didn't retire. They were kicked out. Right? I mean, in all of MMA, there are 3 people that left this sport that weren't kicked out. If you are flat on your back staring at the lights, this is not a choice whether you come back. This is not a choice whether you get up and do it again. If you were victorious and you were on somebody's shoulders pumping your fists in the air and then you decide to not come back, the door, at least of dialogue, is open. George St. Pierre, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Jon Jones. Those are the only 3 people who could come back because they left on their terms. We're make-believing that this was some ceremonious send-off. And I'm only sharing with you, like, it doesn't go away. I found myself doing it at UFC 300. You guys remember that? There's no main event. The whole card blows up. We don't know what we're going to do. It's going to be something. It's going to knock your socks off like we're told this. Oh, gosh, who could it be? It must be the return. Is it going to be the return of Brock Lesnar? No, it can't be. It's in Nevada, and he never served his suspension. Is it going to be the return of Ronda Rousey? No, she said herself she's not going to do it. Is it going to be the return of Khabib? 29-0. He said he was going to go to 30, but then he said he was stopping at 29. Like, there was this whole dialogue to the point that I got my phone, and I had to call St. Pierre and go, hey, dude, is it you? I want to be the one to break the news. And George's like, no, man. I love the headlines, but no, I'm not. I'm not fighting at 300. All right. There was like a brief period of time where I thought it was. I just couldn't figure out who it was going to be. Remember this? We get this big announcement. It's going to knock your socks off. It's going to make your jaws drop. You'll never hear anything like this. Do you remember that? So there is just this idea that when somebody goes out there and they break a sweat, or, they used to do this sport and they dangle this idea of a return. But when an adult steps in the room and goes, hey, it's not a return. You were forced out. Not a retirement when they throw your ass out of the cage. There's never a day that you want to be done with the sport. You will wake up and find out one day that the sport is done with you, with 3 exceptions. St. Pierre, Khabib, and Jon Jones. They all had belts. They all left on top. They were all wanted and welcomed to stay, and they made their own decision that they were not going to. And it's just an interesting one, because Chuck Kearney's point is not wrong. And I get it more in Olympic gear for Greco-Roman wrestling than I do for MMA. But I get it nonetheless. And you do start to have these fantasies. I'm looking at it right now, right? I'm told that Conor McGregor is going to headline the White House card against Michael Chandler. That's great. That's wonderful. Let's just round up. If I'm 50, those guys are 40. Daniel Cormier versus Chael Sonnen at the White House sells more tickets than those guys do. I don't want to fight Daniel Cormier. What I'm sharing for you is, if we're walking guys out there just for the sake of walking guys out there, the good guy versus the bad guy is a very nice night of business. But we have no business in there. We have no feud. We have no rankings. We have no dispute. We have no grudge. And when you're talking about somebody that can just walk out there for this incredible entrance, you see a video surface on Instagram of Ronda claiming she's doing MMA when she is, in fact, hitting mitts like a boxer-sized class. But in her mind, right, she's had 20 good years, and she's going to spend the rest of her life, and she's going to try to get back to those 20. Meanwhile, one guy that is in shape, one guy that does still compete, one guy that is a physical specimen, one guy that looks the same as he did when he left, is Brock Lesnar. And he's doing the same thing under the same umbrella of TKO. And I don't suggest for you that Brock is going to come back. I just suggest for you, if we're walking somebody out and we're looking for a really big name, you don't have to look overly far to see who is in shape, who does look the part, who just might have a chance to get a few minutes in. It's just food for thought. It's all talk. It's all make-believe. It's all headlines. Ronda's no more coming back than she was practicing MMA 2 days ago. But the subject is there. And it's kind of a fun conversation.